This is Fantology.
You may have heard of us.
All right, what's up, Delvers? This is Steven from Untitled, your host, and now we're on the road today. Actually, not in the usual studio. We're here at my parents' house for Thanksgiving, and I'm recording with a special guest, my sister, my younger sister Sarah, and we're going to be reviewing Cytonic. So, Sarah, I think the fans need to know who you are and why they should listen to your opinion about this book.
Like what?
So you bring a good perspective, right? You're on the younger side than the upper 20s of the usual Fantology host, and Cytonic's a YA book, so a little bit more in your wheelhouse, right?
Right. More the target audience.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, for sure. And with the female protagonist, I think maybe you can see yourself in Spencer a little bit.
Well, she is about my same age.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I am interviewing Spencer herself for this episode.
Sure.
Yeah, think about it that way. Okay, so Cytonic, the third book of the Skyward series. If you haven't read the first two, check those out. There's also a couple of novellas that have been released that take place between Starsight and Cytonic books 2 and 3. And neither one of us has actually read that. So maybe we missed on those, but
might be at a disadvantage.
Yeah, but I've heard that they're not super important for the plot of Cytonic. I think it's mostly kind of on the side, kind of like if you've read the Stormlight Archive, kind of like some of those novellas. So Sanderson likes to do this, and I think it's nice. Like maybe we should have read those, because like one of the complaints we had for the book, and we're doing full spoilers for the book, by the way, so that's starting now. But one of the complaints we had for the book was we didn't get enough of like our old friends from the crew, right?
Yeah, the original DDF flight. Yeah, because I don't know. I feel like a lot of what I enjoy in series is that you get to see the character development. So not being able, I mean, she had a couple moments with Jorgen, but not really sure what was going on in Detritus at all.
Yeah, just the ghost flirting with Jorgen. Yeah, we missed a lot of our favorite, and we missed those characters in book 2 as well to some extent, although they were there a little bit more. And now some of these guys are not on screen at all and just get like their name dropped every now and then. So I did think the book suffered from that. I think, I don't know. I mean, I guess I could see two as Sanderson does this. One is the way he's currently doing it, where he's got like, now he has basically like Spencer has 3 different teams of groups. And my theory is in book 4, all of these people are going to come together for the big thing, and they'll all work together and be friends or something, so something nice will happen. But we've struggled a little bit in each book to now like connect some of our side characters, and we're building up every book. We have to build up new characters, and so it's kind of tough to build up these side characters every time.
And it's confusing on who's your favorite. I mean, she honestly has to, the only reason you remember her old friends is because she's trying to remember them. But it's kind of hard to even remember those characters.
Right. And Skyward came out, or no, Starsight came out a couple of years ago at least now. So I was struggling a bit to remember. Like I remember the names, but I can't tell you anything like super specific about Kimmelin or FM or Rig. Like I just
even when Hesho came back.
Sure.
It was kind of hard to remember.
I mean, I remembered him just because he was the fox gerbil that was really boisterous and verbose. Like he was kind of a fun guy. But he's a lot of the characters are also kind of similar. Like Mbot and Chet and Hesho all kind of have the same characteristic of just like talking a lot and being like way extra.
And just all working for Spencer. It's like her little servants.
Yeah, no kidding. So maybe we're a little critical of the characters, and maybe we should start with like a little bit of a review of like what we liked about the book, what we didn't like about the book. Sounds like the main characters were like, we had Spencer and Mbot at least. And we liked these guys. So that was good, but we missed our familiar friends.
Yeah. And a lot of the new characters, there was a lot of can we trust them for a while, especially Chet and Peg.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and that was purposeful. That was kind of one of the themes of the book, and I think that's one thing we'll talk about a little bit later is like the themes that Sanderson's throwing in, which I think are pretty nice. And one of them was like Spencer trying to trust people, and she's been betrayed in the past, and so how does she deal with this now? And who does she choose to trust? And I thought that was done pretty well.
Yeah, but it does make her feel more alone. One, not being with her old friends, and then this.
Yeah, the only one she can really trust is Mbot, and Mbot is just barely coming into like his own personality, his own being a sentient being. Yeah. Okay, so backtrack. Did we like the book 3 of the series? How does it compare to the first 2? Like, what's the trajectory of the series after reading 3?
I still liked it. I feel like we just gave a lot of criticism, but I still liked it. I still found it exciting. Maybe that's just because I am the target audience.
Yeah. But well, I mean, that's good, right? Like,
yeah, it is.
If the target audience likes it, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it is. You're missing on some things, but it still is the story of the main character, Spencer. And so, wherever she goes, that's where the story goes. So I liked it. And I felt like I think this book was probably setting up for book 4. Was its main goal.
Yeah, it did seem like it did seem like a side adventure, a side quest.
Yeah.
Almost from like we got the big main thing happening and like, okay, pause from the main thing.
Let's just load you up with information. Yeah.
On this, and it was in another unique setting. Sanderson likes to do this. You haven't read his other books, but this is something he's very well known for. If I was to say like 2 things Sanderson's known for, one would be world building, so coming up with really unique settings, and you see this, with the nowhere. He's got all these different like land masses flying around, and they're all different unique settings. There's different vegetation and creatures everywhere. It's kind of fun.
Fragments.
Yeah, fragments. And he does this in his other series like Mistborn and Stormlight Archive. They're all kind of this unique thing. So world building is one, and the other thing that people really like him for is his ability to do fun twists, to kind of like make the surprising, inevitable thing happen.
Which we saw.
He does. Yeah, I thought that really made the end pay off for me, because through the first half, I was like, this book's kind of boring. I'll be honest.
Same.
Like, not much was happening the entire first half. And I think I don't think that's a good thing about the book. I think that is for sure
because it would lose readers.
Yeah. And like, I see why he's doing it, because he's trying to do the setup, and the setup does pay off, like with Chet, with the reality icon, with the world and everything. But it was also a little tough because like nothing was happening. She was just wandering around and trying to figure it out, and nothing was happening.
Just these friendly little conversations with Chet was all.
Yeah. And Spencer is like so over the top sometimes, and Chet is so over the top that I was reading this thinking like, man, these characters are all like pretty crazy. And I was having a hard time relating to the whole first half of the book. The second half, though, I thought was really good and really made the first half worth it. And overall, like all things considered, I did like the book. I think it was better than Starsight. Starsight was honestly not my favorite, but I think this one, so Skyward's still the best. Starsight maybe a little bit down, and Cytonic kind of in between there. So I'll say Cytonic's like a 7 out of 10 overall for me. Which you haven't been on other podcasts, so 7 out is like a decent rating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want me to rate it?
Yeah. What do you think?
Okay. Once again, Skyward and Starsight have been a while for me, but I remember liking Starsight a lot. So I would probably say Skyward first, Starsight, then Cytonic. But
so downward.
Yeah. I would put Starsight over Cytonic.
Okay.
But I mean, I feel like the first book kind of has to be the
first
best.
book is all, well, I mean, it doesn't have to, but it is the nostalgia of the first book.
Yeah.
Really it's like
oh, when the character was.
Yeah.
So as for rating, if you say 7 out of 10 is decent, I probably agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna say if you've read the first two and you like them, then you probably like the third as well.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're
Mhm.
still listening at this point, that means you probably already read the book, or you have massive spoilers to happen for you already. Yeah.
And I think I mean, we obviously don't have the fourth book, but I think it just feels like a huge setup book for that. So if you like the series so far, then you're gonna want to read this book.
Yeah, a lot of series do that. The first book's really strong, and then the middle part of the series is like setting up to get to the end, and the end is probably pretty cool. I'm guessing Sanderson has really thought out how he wants the end to be, because he's been good in the past at making endings really good. So I'm gonna guess that the fourth book is gonna be probably better than 2 and 3.
Okay. Yeah. Probably.
And I think his plans are, if I remember correctly, to continue. Like, he's not going to take another break on that one. He took a break to write one of the Storm Echo books. So that's why it took so long for book 3 to come out. I think book 4 is like, he wants to have it for next year.
Oh, nice.
And I listened to so he does release parties for his books, which are huge things now because he's way too popular and everyone in Utah loves him. So he did a release party down at this big convention center, a little bit south of where we live. And there were probably like thousands of people there, to be honest, maybe like 2,000 or so. I'm just going to guess. I didn't go. But he talked about the process of writing this book. And he said it was one of the tougher books to write. And it required a lot of revisions. And he was like pretty honest about the whole pandemic, like getting to him and having a hard time writing. So I'm hoping that, with things opening up a little bit, like he can get back on track and get through book 4. Because while I do enjoy his other books more, I want to see how this ends, because the last half of Cytonic was really good and got me excited for the rest.
Yeah. And does he have other YA books?
He has one other series called The Reckoners, which is like superheroes that, the superheroes have gone bad, like the superpowers corrupt you. And then there's this group of regularly powered people that are like fighting against the evil superheroes. So that's it. And that trilogy is all done. That came out a few years ago. I remember liking that one okay. I think I like Skyward more than those.
Okay.
Those ones almost seem like a little bit younger than Skyward. But I'd say they're like pretty similar YA audiences. So you could, if you run out of Regency romances, you can check those out.
You can expose me like that.
There's a romance in that one as well. Another YA romance. Actually, I like that one. I think I like that one better than the Spencer Jorgen romance.
Yeah, the Spencer Jorgen romance is a little awkward.
You're not a. What's their couple name? Jorgsa. You're not a Jorgsa.
I don't know. I just think it's weird that she just kind of appears to him. I don't know. It's just kind of weird, and he was just like, "Oh, hey," I don't know. It was kind of awkward.
Too cheesy.
Hopefully, it'll be better when they're back together. Well, I mean, they are back together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a big kiss in at the end. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so that's good. We got that at least.
Yeah. To break up the random ghost visiting.
Okay, so what other characters do we need to talk about? How about Mbot? Sounds like he's a favorite of yours.
Yeah, so with Mbot, I'm trying to remember. He wasn't as emotionally advanced in Starsight. It's just because he's in the nowhere.
Yeah, so that was the thing. Like, he is the power of the nowhere is like infusing him with
So and right now Spencer left him in the nowhere.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a housing for his AI anymore. He's like a junior delver right now, I guess what I would say. So
it'll be interesting to see what happens to him. Because and if Spencer can save him, what will he be different when he goes back to somewhere? Yeah. So I thought it was I think he's going to be crucial. His presence with the Delvers is going to be crucial to the ultimate solution, right? As well as her now like fusing with the Chet Delver. Right, because Mbot trusts Spencer, so if he can work with the Delvers, are you thinking? Yeah, he's the sleeper cell agent in with the Delvers.
Yeah, they're gonna activate.
Plus he's just in there for we don't know how long.
Yeah. I thought it was a little like maybe Sanderson should have left Mbot to be like quote unquote dead for this book and then brought him back in the next book. So it was more of a surprise. But he also just did that with Hesho. So maybe he didn't want to do another like resurrection because he's actually done this a lot. It's one of the things that people are a little critical of him because in his other books, he likes to kill people, but then bring them back after they like should be dead for all intents and purposes. So once again, he does this with Hesho. I think he gets really attached to his character, so he just has a hard time letting go.
Well, there's a hint of that with Spence's father, even.
Yeah, the whole time. Yeah, right. Like I thought he was gonna come back somehow.
I thought, I don't know what I thought.
So do you think he comes back in book 4?
No.
No,
because I mean, when she finds out that Doomslug is the icon, or that's what it's called. I kind of feel like that was the like, oh, okay, so it's not my father. Like she kind of goes through it. She's like, I don't really remember him. Like that wouldn't have been a comforting thing. But Doomslug,
sure,
she knows.
Okay.
So
yeah,
he could be, but I mean, how wasn't he shot down?
But he like disappeared.
Oh.
I think. Did they get his body? I don't. They must see. This is where it's been.
We'll have to read back on that.
Yeah.
Because if he disappeared, then he probably will come back.
Yeah, he must have been gone because otherwise she would have been like, oh yeah, they buried him or whatever. Like clearly his body is gone. But for him, for her to think that he could appear, there must be a chance that he died off screen or something.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then maybe.
I mean, I always say that if someone dies off screen in a book or a TV show, they're not dead. They're coming back. So I would think that he comes back, especially because it's Sanderson, and it would be like a nice emotional thing. But on the other hand, like maybe she doesn't need her father anymore, and she's kind of like learned to find her own way. And she talks about how she's mourned his loss over the years, and like that was like part of her fusing with the Chet Delver thing. So I don't think she needs him to come back.
I mean, Chet is like a father figure in the book, but not her father. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so we're split. We don't know. Either way. I was thinking he was going to come back this book, but I liked that subversion because I like Doomslug being there instead. It seemed a little more realistic.
Doomslug was a good surprise.
Yeah. It's nice to have Doomslug. And I should have figured we were going to get Doomslug because Doomslug is like the mascot of the series. So we can't go without Doomslug. The only way it
all works.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, we don't need FM or Kimmelin or or Moramir or all these aliens. Doomslug is the one that we need.
Yeah.
So what do you think of the new crew, the new pirate crew, since I bring up the other aliens? Peg and a bunch of other guys that I don't remember their names.
The human was like more
they had names.
I mean
the crystal people.
Yeah, there was a lot of different species.
Bill is
right, but it was almost like, do we need to know all the details of their species?
Yeah,
it was kind of funny.
The illustrations were helpful for me. Because there are a lot of aliens, so it was nice to at least see a picture of them. I have trouble connecting with aliens because they are alien. And so I was like, okay, there's these crystal things. Okay, like I just have a hard time making any kind of character connection. So maybe I prefer more humans.
The only thing is when you get to compare like what their stereotypical human is, and then they're like, you're this sort of human, or we didn't expect this from a human. That's interesting because you learn more about Spencer through them. And it was also, I mean, the biggest character for sure of the aliens is Peg.
Sure.
Who we didn't know if we could trust that first.
Seems sus for a while.
Yeah, but I think she's okay now.
And we have the fruit. Spencer did recover the fruit from Peg's tree.
Yeah.
Which is going to be important, apparently. Yeah. Like, of the things that she was able to take out with her, she got the fruit.
It mentioned that it was like Hesho's been holding the fruit.
Yeah.
okay, guess we need that.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see them again, but
Yeah.
I did think a lot of those alien characters were a little interchangeable, and I didn't necessarily, I have no attachment to them. If they don't come back, I'd be like, yeah, whatever.
I think, I mean, it was through them though that they recovered Hesho. If not for Peg being, oh, this duel, then she would have never met Hesho again.
So why do we care about Hesho so much? He's just a fan favorite? Just because he's cute?
Maybe just because he knows Spencer from the somewhere. No one else in the nowhere does. So, and the fact that she was able to recover him, get his memories back. But
I just thought he was a memorable character, and it was sad when he died in the second book. But of course, he's back. Of course, he's back.
Yeah, he's funny though. Maybe just comical relief.
Yeah, well, I mean, do we need more comic relief? We have Mbot and Chet and Spencer is like every character provides comic relief. And I thought some of the humor was funny. I thought the funniest parts were when Mbot was like trying to identify his emotions along with Chet. That was funny in the midst of the battle, and it lightened the mood. And then there was one part where Spencer was like listing off her inventory of like crew members, and she was describing them in funny ways, and it made it seem like this just total ragtag group of misfits, and they were. So there were some funny parts. There were also some cheesy parts, but it's also YA. Yeah, for sure, so, YA humor. Yeah. I mean, I struggled with some, but for the most part, I thought it was good. And there's some humor in some of his other books that I really don't like. I think it's just like way too cheesy and silly. And so this fits YA more. So I guess I would prefer that Sanderson keeps his humor side to the YA because it fits more there. His sense of humor tends to be more on the YA side of things. Yeah. So do you think that because I like really like Mbot as a character, do you think that you might not like him as much? Because he's a lot of the joking. No, I like the types of characters that are like, anytime there's a large cultural divide, like you have between a robot that's learning feelings and a human, I think that's funny as like they try to understand culture and make like natural mistakes. I think those things are funny. Like similar types of humor happen between like if you have some like nomad culture that comes in and they don't understand how the civilized people, quote unquote civilized people, work. Then there's some like natural, like the barbarian comes into the city and he's learning, what all these people are doing. So that type of humor, I think is good. So I actually do really like Mbot. The humor that I didn't like as much was Spencer's humor, because I think Spencer can get a little over the top, like her whole, like, I'm gonna, drink the blood of my enemies through their skulls. I'm just like, what? Like, this is not. I kind of thought it was funny. But it's like so unrealistic. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But I don't know. Just maybe it's just the stereotypical like dramatic teenage girl. Yeah, she's supposed to be like 19, right? Yeah, 18 or 19. Yeah. She's very dramatic. Yes. Yeah. The thing I did like about Spencer was her like the themes in the latter half of the book where she was like exploring what it is to be human and trying to figure out like, all these people think that I'm so aggressive and I have this like capacity to do all this bad stuff. Like, how do I navigate this? And she's like learning how to grow up. And I thought some of that stuff was like pretty good. Yeah. I mean, that's where you get the character development. But yeah. It might have been like a little heavy handed because he really hammered these themes home. And I think he does this better in his other books, to be honest, because they're like more adult themes. Not that they're like level of content maturity, but just they're like more adult ideas. And I think having characters that are a little more mature as well exploring these things works a little bit better, because like you've got this girl who is drinking the blood of her enemies out of their skulls, and then all of a sudden she's like thinking about, how do I handle pain and how do I learn how to cope with these things. And like, yes, that is real. Like we, as people, we have like moments of levity and moments of more maturity, but at the same time, it's like,
Mhm.
I don't know. There's a lot of juxtaposition there between the silliness and the heavy themes, and I don't know. It might have been like a little too much for YA.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
sounds like you liked it. So
I
if
liked
you're the
it.
target audience and you're liking it, then that's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the YA books I've read are a lot of that like huge character development, which might not
Mhm.
always be realistic, but maybe that's a method of trying to relate to its audience.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
don't know,
like
because I just
this audience
see
is
that
thinking
pattern.
about growing up and like trying to deal with these
Yeah,
things.
I guess. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like you're trying to figure these things out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So maybe you learned something
Well,
from Cytonic.
well, no, but just the development. I mean, I don't have to. It goes through the same thing she's, but
Sure, hopefully not.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the
Yeah.
development.
The other thing I thought was good was when I think is it Mbot who's trying to figure out, or no, the whole thing with the Delvers in chat, and they're like dealing with
Yeah.
pain, and they're like, okay, this is painful, so we're gonna shut it away and like not deal with this thing, and like that was the reason why it all went
That's
south.
the whole reason for the Delvers.
But on the other hand, Spencer is dealing with her pain, and this is
Yeah.
like this is something like this exact idea happens in the Stormlight Archive, and is
Really?
really good. But it was okay here, but like Sanderson takes the same exact idea, and it's a really good idea. So I like it. And the whole thing with the Delvers, like the lore of the Delvers, was interesting to get into, right?
Yeah, the Delvers kind of seem like this abstract idea in the series until now, and then you kind of understood them better, especially when you found out that Chet is a Delver.
Yeah.
And then when he turns like back into a Delver at the very end, but you can tell that he's different. So
was that the thing? Because you texted me a couple of times during the book, and you said like there was a huge twist. Is that what you were referring to when Chet was outed as a Delver?
I think Chet and Doomslug, yeah.
Okay.
I think those were the two big things.
What about the Delvers being AIs back in the day? Like I thought that was also a good one.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it made everything click because Mbot's been feared since she found him. Like since I think Cobb first flew Mbot.
Yeah, you're always told like, oh, don't do AIs. Like,
yeah,
that's a bad thing.
It finally made sense, and it makes sense why the Delvers hate him or all AIs.
Yeah.
Okay. So there were a couple things that were kind of understood, and then I think we can use those definitions to like move forward in the next book, because you have a lot more.
We have some.
You're putting it together.
Yeah, we've got some foundations here, so now we're going towards the big climax.
Yeah.
That's usually the way that the Sanderson books work, and they're kind of clinical in that like he builds up different ideas and like, okay, this is how things are going to work, and then you think that that's the case, and then you're like, wait a second, like it actually works this way, and then it all makes sense actually because previously it didn't quite make sense, but now that we've switched things around, now it does make sense. And that's what happened with the whole AI thing.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me your favorite moment from the book. Like, was there one big favorite moment?
I mean, I liked the big discovery of Chet. I think that was big, and how she still trusted him and almost was like, okay, like this is kind of good. I mean, like, yeah, he tricked her, but I mean, if he hadn't, she wouldn't have gone through the path of elders.
Okay. So the whole Chet payoff.
Yeah, because I mean, she was scared of Chet first, and she buried the icon, and then they had the big heart to heart. Yeah,
the whole time from the very beginning, when he first showed up, she's like, "This is weird.
Yeah,
this guy just shows up right away, and he's so helpful."
Well, and because he was supposedly Mbot's pilot, and now that made sense why. And so it made it a lot. I mean, we trusted Chet after they first got out of the pirates, but that made it make more sense.
Yeah.
Of
Okay.
why. It was too coincidental.
Yeah, honestly, up until the point where Chet was revealed to be a Delver, I was like, this guy is pointless and obnoxious.
Yeah.
But now
it was just like
now
he
it all
liked
makes sense. It
exploring.
all makes sense. So it does pay off pretty nicely. Yeah.
And it makes sense why he wanted to stay.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted Spence to stay with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part was the pirate champion duel.
Yeah.
Just because that was like the moment when the action really got rolling.
Yeah.
And Hesha was obviously back, and that was a good reveal. The duel itself was kind of fun. I like the flying around in the
That's
ships
true.
and all that ingenuity. There was a lot more like ship fighting in the previous two books.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like that's more of what we're used to. We're not more of the
Mhm.
like touchy-feely Spencer and exploring for forever.
Right.
But seeing her in a cockpit, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's our review of Cytonic. Any parting words? You feel like you got all the things you need to say? First time on the podcast.
First time on the
You got it all out?
podcast.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Just excited to see what happens in the next book.
Okay.
I mean, we were kind of left on not cliffhangers, but I mean, even coming back to Detritus, it's like, what happened to Cobb? Why is Jorgen the admiral? Why is Detritus orbiting another planet?
And I think some of that is in the novellas.
Oh,
so maybe we
maybe
missed
we need to
that.
read that.
So we probably do.
Okay.
I'm assuming that most of that will be. But yeah, there were some things there.
Yeah. So there's a lot to figure out in the fourth book.
And there's another novella that hasn't come out that's from Jorgen's perspective. I don't know if that one's supposed to take place after Cytonic or before. Maybe we should have done our research before recording our review. But this is only a review of Cytonic, so let us know in the comments what actually happened. Maybe answer those questions, please.
Yeah, but for sure, maybe we should read them before the fourth book.
Okay. All right. Well, that's our review. Cytonic by Brandon Sanderson. Let's see, if you are trapped out in the nowhere somewhere, make sure you don't attract delvers. Watch out for hold on to your memories, all that good stuff. And we'll see you later. Thanks for listening.